Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today, taking a good look at Make Money Easy by Lewis Howes. It's an audiobook,
Yeah.
and he actually narrates it himself, so it's like you're getting advice, straight from a friend, one-on-one.
Yeah.
And speaking of advice, the book reviews all talk about how practical it is and actionable, which is exactly what we're going to break down for you today.
Yeah, it is interesting because a lot of personal finance books, they can get really technical. It's like reading a textbook almost.
Yeah,
But Make Money Easy, it really stands out because it focuses on the mindset piece of things.
right.
And House understands that our relationship with money, it runs a lot deeper than just, crunching the numbers and budgeting.
Totally.
Yeah.
And he doesn't just preach this, from up high somewhere. Like, he actually starts the book by sharing his own story,
Right.
growing up in poverty and facing some pretty big setbacks early in life.
Yeah, and it really sets the stage, for the rest of the book.
For sure.
It just makes his advice so much more relatable and attainable because you see that he's actually been there the walk.
Yeah.
It's not just theory, it's lived experience.
Right. Hearing about his struggles makes you think like, well, if he can turn things around, maybe I can too.
Yeah.
And that's where I really connected with this idea of money flow.
Yeah.
He compares it to water, like water flowing. And he says that our beliefs about money can act like dams blocking that abundance from getting to us.
Oh, for sure.
Have you ever talked yourself out of a money-making opportunity because of fear?
Oh, all the time.
Me too.
Mm.
And that's exactly what Howes is talking about.
Yeah.
He says those fears are like cutting off the flow, preventing resources from reaching you. So the question becomes, how do we break down those dams and let the abundance flow in?
Right.
That's where his advice on shifting your money mindset comes into play.
Exactly. And he really pushes back on those beliefs that a lot of people hold.
Yeah.
Things like money is scarce or you have to work like crazy all the time to be successful. Yeah. He really wants readers to adopt a more abundant mindset, believe there's enough for everybody and that you can create the wealth you want in your life.
And this shift in thinking, it's so important because it lays the foundation for everything else.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
you could have all the best strategies in the world, but if you're coming at them from a place of scarcity and fear, they're not going to be nearly as effective.
Yeah, it's like trying to build a house on a shaky foundation.
Right.
That mindset is the bedrock of success.
So true. So once you've started to cultivate that abundant mindset, then Howes dives into some really practical strategies for making money.
Okay.
And one of the key concepts he emphasizes is having multiple income streams.
Yeah.
He's a big advocate for not relying only on a single paycheck
Yeah.
and instead creating a more diversified income portfolio.
And this is really where his career shines through.
Oh, yeah.
He's been a pro athlete, a podcaster, an author, business coach. He's living proof that these multiple income streams are possible and they can lead to greater financial freedom and security too.
It's like he says, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great in theory, but how do I actually create these multiple income streams?
Right.
And that's where Howes gets really specific.
He does. He provides a lot of really actionable advice. For example, he talks about identifying your unique value proposition, which is basically figuring out what are you really good at and how can you use those skills to solve problems for people.
I like that.
So think about it. What are you good at? What problems can you solve?
Those are great questions.
Yeah,
And the answers might just unlock your next side hustle or even a whole business.
exactly. And he really breaks things down in a way that feels very accessible and doable.
For sure.
And it's not just vague advice either. He really goes into detail about different strategies for making money, like launching digital products,
Yeah.
offering consulting services, even exploring things like affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving you all the tools and saying, okay, here you go. Now go build something amazing.
Love it.
And that's where things get really interesting. Because he doesn't just drop all these strategies and then just leave you to figure it out on your own.
Right.
He really stresses working smarter, not harder.
That's right. He's all about systems over hustle. I mean, he dedicates a whole section of the book to this.
Yeah.
And I found it really refreshing,
Yeah.
especially in today's culture. Everyone's always hustling.
Yeah.
You can easily fall into that trap of thinking you have to constantly be grinding, to be successful. But Howes really pushes back against that.
He does.
He says by building systems and automating things, you can free up so much time and energy.
Right.
And then you can focus on the things that really matter.
Yeah, and he even gives some really specific examples of systems that you can put into place.
Yeah.
Like setting up email sequences to kind of nurture leads,
Right.
or using project management tools to streamline your workflows, or even like outsourcing tasks to virtual assistants.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about creating a business or a career that works for you, not the other way around.
Yeah.
And that kind of ties into another one of his big takeaways, which is investing in yourself.
Right. And that is such a huge concept.
Yeah.
He emphasizes that, like, you are your most valuable asset.
Uh,
And by constantly learning new skills, improving your knowledge, you can really increase your earning potential.
for sure.
And it doesn't have to be formal education or training either.
Right.
It could be as simple as like spending some time each day reading in your industry, listening to a podcast like this one,
Yeah.
attending workshops, things like that.
It's about seeking growth, expanding your horizons, and realizing that learning is a lifelong journey.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not a destination.
Definitely an investment that pays off both financially and personally.
Oh, for sure. Now, I think it's important to acknowledge that, building a successful business or career, it's not always going to be easy.
Right.
We all face those inner demons,
Yeah.
like fear of failure, self-doubt, that imposter syndrome. Does House address that, those kind of psychological barriers?
Oh, he does. He doesn't shy away from it at all.
Okay, good.
In fact, like a whole section of the book is dedicated to overcoming these beliefs, and building a stronger, more resilient mindset.
I like that.
Yeah, he offers practical advice for dealing with fear, reframing those negative thoughts, cultivating a stronger sense of self-belief.
Yeah.
He talks about surrounding yourself with people who support you,
Right.
finding mentors who have walked the path that you want to walk,
Yeah.
and celebrating your wins along the way.
It's nice that he doesn't gloss over, the mental and emotional aspects of achieving financial success.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that it's a journey and there will be bumps in the road.
Oh, yeah,
But he gives you the tools and strategies to navigate those challenges
for sure.
and come out stronger on the other side.
And what's cool is he doesn't frame financial success as like a selfish pursuit.
Right.
He really emphasizes generosity and abundance. And he argues that giving back is a big part of a truly wealthy life.
Yeah, that part really resonated with me.
Yeah.
He talks about how giving back, whether it's through philanthropy or volunteering
Yeah.
or just helping people in need,
Right.
it actually contributes to a deeper sense of wealth and fulfillment.
It's about realizing that wealth is, it's not just about money.
Right.
It's holistic,
Yeah.
It's financial well-being, but it's also strong relationships, a sense
Yeah.
of purpose,
Right.
a commitment to making a difference,
It's not just about getting rich. It's about living a rich life.
Yeah.
Now, one of the biggest takeaways I got from Make Money Easy was this idea of like envisioning your dream life and then reverse engineering, the financial steps you need to take to get there.
Right. Such a good concept.
Yeah.
He really encourages readers to think deeply about their goals, their values, their ideal lifestyle. What does your dream life actually look like? Where do you want to live? How do you want to spend your days? Who do you want to be around?
Right.
Once you have that vision, then you can start figuring out the finances, the habits, and the income streams.
Exactly.
That'll get you there.
It's like creating a roadmap for your dream life,
Yeah.
both financially and personally.
Right. And it's not about having all the answers right now.
Yeah.
It's just taking that first step, setting those goals, and trusting that you can create the future you want.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
We've gone through Lewis Howes's Make Money Easy.
Yeah.
And I got to say, it is just packed with insights and advice,
Yeah.
for anyone looking to kind of, take control of their finances and create that life of abundance.
Yeah. It really does layer out, a path to financial freedom.
For sure.
We covered House's own, inspiring story from poverty to success.
Right.
And we talked about that money mindset shift and looked at how important it is to have lots of different income streams.
Right. We also looked at some specific strategies like figuring out your unique value proposition,
Yes.
building systems, to work smarter
Yeah.
and constantly investing in your own growth.
Right. And let's not forget that we talked about, those inner demons that can hold us back.
Yeah, those are important.
House gives us so many tools and techniques to overcome that fear and the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome,
Right.
so listeners can step into their potential.
What I really liked is that he doesn't just focus on the material side of wealth.
Yeah.
He emphasizes generosity,
Uh-huh.
reminding us that true wealth is more than just money.
Right.
It's well-being, it's
Mm.
relationships and purpose.
It's about living a rich life, not just getting rich.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with this one last thought.
Okay.
Remember that concept of envisioning your dream life
Yeah,
and then figuring out those financial steps you need to take to get there.
absolutely.
Take some time to really reflect on that.
Yeah, what does your ideal life look like?
Uh-huh.
What brings you joy?
Right.
What impact do you want to make?
Yeah. And once you have that vision in your mind,
Yeah.
you can start, planning those financial strategies,
Yeah.
the habits that will help you make that dream a reality.
It's all about setting those goals, making good choices, and taking action.
And remember, financial freedom, it's within your reach.
Yeah.
It's not about winning the lottery or getting some big inheritance.
Right.
It's about making those smart choices, building a life that reflects your values.
And if Lewis Howes can go from poverty to financial freedom, you can too.
That's right. So what will you do after this dive?
Yeah, what steps will you take to get closer to your goals?
And create the life that you want.
We'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.